the F is this? This is the Dojo Training Program, my friend. We're doing the graduates. Yesterday we did the under 1,000. Today we're doing the 1,000 plus. We got a lot to do today. And I do this show every week. I do 2 shows a week because we have so many graduates at the dojo. And we got to go back 1 week, buddy, to this one. Not 1 day, 1 day. We did all these people yesterday, the under 1,000 crew. And we're going to start today with Avocado Lobster, who has his first graduation. My first graduation, he says. Look at that. Wait, he wrote a novel for me, dude. I'll read his novel. Here we go. My first graduation. Joined the dojo in December and really enjoyed Jack's brilliant website. Jack, dude. By the way, we are coming out with Dojo 3.0, my friends. It is amazing. And it's like the senseis have ideas, and then we tell Jack about them, and he just does amazing, beautiful things. Oh, I'm in the middle of the medical industrial complex right here. That's what you hear behind me. I have played chess my whole life, but everything more or less learned on my own. Mostly me too. Having someone guide me on my way to improvement is a game changer. Joined the local club in September and played my first tournament this winter. Even though I performed poorly, 1-7, I think it has given me a lot to play and go over my own games. Also have others from the dojo go over them. Nice. Shout out to Louis F. Nice. Besides playing and analyzing my games, I have learned a lot from the Program Maiden 2s. Used to train for the Danish Chess Problem Championship, where you have 2 hours for 18 Maiden 2s. These were way above the Polgar ones, but I still managed to score 9 out of 18. Look forward to get some more Polgars to solve. That's cool that you got to play in the Danish Chess Problem Championship. I don't even know if we have a U.S. one. Seems like we got it, but I never heard anyone talk about it. All right, and then we have Learn Chess the Right Way 3. The first book of Morphy is Open My Eyes, Importance of Development, Disregard for Material, been a revelation. Still struggling with material blunders, right? In particular related to pawn advances, chess psychology. Furthermore, while I have a good theoretical sense of the importance of time, I still have a lot to learn, in particular how to punish waste of time. Right. Oh no, he's expecting his second child in less than 2 months. Goodbye, Avocado Lobster. Goodbye. So you might be coming back in the fall. Nice. I hope you enjoy my novels. He knew I was going to call it a novel too. That's fun. Okay. Congratulations, second kid. I thought second kid, man, that was really when my chest went downhill. Here we go. This is Avocado Lobster. He wrote another novel. He can forget all these goals, though, because he just had another kid. So that's over, buddy. That's over. PhD in Physical Oceanography. Now working with numerical weather prediction. Oh, that's actually very interesting. Yeah, I can imagine physical oceanography, like getting real. There's some things I'm interested in out there. It might sound boring to some, but if you think about plate tectonics and that kind of thing, it gets in there. Long-term dojo goal is to get Jesse to say welcome to the dojo during a review of one of my games. These are all great goals, by the way. I love it. Yeah. My 2-year-old's wish for costume for the Danish tradition fastelavn, a mix of Halloween and Cinco de Mayo. Okay? Cool. So as we see, 1101 has been reached. Congratulations. You're going to go down after you have your second kid, so just be prepared for that. We've got the Danish dojo, nice, located in Odense. A Danish is called a wienerbrot. There you go. Let me see. Oh, God. I went to Denmark once, and I lived in Germany, so there's enough words that I could kind of understand. They had a hilarious word for brötchen, so like a little, what would we call it? A little piece of bread, basically. But they had a hilarious word. They have all kinds of funny words, too. That's pretty fun. I would love to go back. I played in, God, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's like the Ancient City. It was like 1998 or something like that. It starts with an R. Anyways, Kraai, you're getting distracted. You're getting distracted, buddy. Okay. So, login expired. We got to refresh. So let's get into it. Activity. Dude, he's done a lot of work. Look at this. Dude did a lot of work. And one of the things Jack just did, you can see, is now he's got all cohorts, so you can see the total amount of time. But then I can also go down and see what the lobster did. Oh, excuse me, not that one. For this one. Oh, this is actually new, so I'm a little bit, now I'm confused. Like, how do I get rid of that one? Oh, there we go. So dude did 190 hours of work. Dang. And yeah, that's really good, man. That is really good. Let's click around a little bit. We got the tactics going on. Some good mate in twos, right? Okay, this dude is working. This dude is working, my friend. Let's see what they're doing non-dojo time. Okay, club sparring, fantastic. This is looking great. Okay, this dude is inspirational. Let's go games. Doing a lot of work. Okay, here we go. So here he is black. I might not be able to say welcome to the dojo if he lost this one, but we're going to just see let's see what's going on. All right, logical chess. By the way, we did a statistical analysis. I don't know how much I trust this, but we did a statistical analysis of what helped people in which cohorts the most. And it was in this cohort that logical chess by Chernev helped the most, was correlated most strongly with points. A ridiculous amount of points. It was kind of unbelievable, but there has to be at least some truth to it. Okay. My opponent spent very little time thinking about his moves. That's what you're going to get at this level. My opponent played unprincipled. That's what you're going to get at this level, right? So this is a great game to review because you're just going to get a lot of this kind of play until you get stronger. Let's take a look at the times. Yeah, look at that. His opponent didn't think at all. And what you're dealing with really is somebody who might be very talented, but who has no ability to sit and actually reflect on what's going on in the game. We see this at every graduation show. Okay, here we go. G3's fine. If you move a pawn out that's helping one of your bishops get out, it's going to be okay. That's definitely weird. Okay. Yeah, and if I was going to say anything about it, I would say the grief is that the knight is misplaced. That's the big grief about this thing that white has done. So you played c5, and I definitely feel e5 would be stronger. Let's talk briefly about development. So we need at least 2 pawn moves to get our pieces out, right? We need one to get this bishop out. We need one to get this bishop out. And so sometimes it's good to move the c-pawn. We get the queen out. It definitely is not a terrible move that you did. But this move is really more to the point, especially to try to punish white, right, for the crimes they've committed. Because then we're just getting everybody's out. Everybody's coming. Let's go, let's go, let's go, right? Okay, but this is okay. Weird. The only reason white has spent time this far is because he forgot to push his clock. Oh, man. No, of course, f4 is terrible. Good. More terribleness. Good. And that one we can't really criticize. The knight did owe us a move to kind of do something. Now, e6 is fine, but let's just talk about time for a second. So you are up in time, tempo. And what you should strive to do now is to try to open the position. The value of time increases when we open the position. Now, your move is not terrible, but e5 strikes me as more competitive because putting more pressure on your opponent, because it just increases the value of time because the board's going to open up some. But this is okay. Okay. Loss of time, my first mistake, I think. Beautiful. Great annotation. So I want to agree with you that I might have quibbles with earlier moves, but they were fundamentally fine. And then this one is just breaking a basic principle, and you playing G6. And right, if you're going to do it, you should have done it last move. Well said. Here, maybe we should address too, whatever, you're probably afraid of something here, right? Maybe it'd be interesting to talk about what you're afraid of. In any case, G6. You're still better, by the way. Queen B3. One thing we could say about this move is your opponent at this level, they'll waste time, they'll not use time on the clock, and they'll make, if they see a threat they can make, they'll usually make it. And when that happens, we want to not be reactive, but like, how can we develop and defend at the same time? You write about rook b8. I like just queen d7 or c7, just one of these moves. Develop the queen, defend the pawn. And your move isn't terrible, but how are we going to really nail him to the wall if we trade the queens now? Because there's nothing fundamentally wrong with his position. The problem with his position was that he was down in development. I think white should be playing e4, by the way. Let's just see what he does. He snips. Good. When I say good, I mean your note is good. The problem with this is now he developed your rook. Good. I really like this annotation. Yeah. We could argue if we think you're a little bit better or clearly better, but I like what you're doing. You're saying, I'm clearly better in this position. King G2. Weird. At the postmortem, my opponent said he was very happy with this move because there was no light square bishops or queens to harass the king. I don't like it. It's a loss of time. White should get his pieces out or free himself. Well said. Yeah. Look, these guys need help, right? So candidate moves would be bishop d2, knight a3, something like that. And you could think about that. It's a little frisky. But one of those moves is what white needs to do. One thing you'll find is players at this level, like they're waiting. They don't know what to do with their pieces, and they've never been properly punished for sitting on their hands like this. So they don't actually understand. And it's until you nail them, they're never going to get it. They're never going to get it. Okay, now, here we have an interesting moment where you need to know what to do. And I will say, I don't think it's super easy to know. You talk about castles, or king e7, or h5. Interesting. Now, b5, I don't want you to actually be too harsh on this move. I'm not convinced it's terrible at all, in fact. If there's going to be one thing to yell about, it's that your king isn't developed yet. And I would encourage you to not castle, because the king might want to be in the center. Okay? Let's give your intuition a try. I don't think there's anything terribly wrong with it, honestly. You really like e4, but let's talk about it. So your opponent is not developed, and now it's going to be an interesting question of, they're opening the position. Can we do something about it? Okay, you talk about d4 and castles, and that's it. I think the interesting question for me is, what would happen if we tried to blow up the position with c4? This is not a requirement. You could also play king d7. Just sitting. I'm just sitting, boss. I'm just sitting. What do you want to do to me? I have a lot of sympathy with c4, and maybe a sample variation. There's many things white could do, by the way, but a sample variation could be e5, and we would be sad about our bishop, no doubt. Here, here, here. That could be a sample variation. There's more to say about it than that. but that would be an idea for you. And more importantly, it would follow through what I think is your intuition with b5. For example, if you're going to play d4, I don't know why we played b5, right? The idea of b5 was to get some juice flowing on the queen side. Maybe even this weird move, you know? You're trying to open up some lines, making him worry about stuff, and really preventing the knight from developing. So b4 is another move that comes to mind. So I think what happened is your opponent played e4, and then you got freaked out, and then you were like, oh no, now terrible things are happening to me. So this helps out white, and you say this does not help black in any way. Right, it takes a lot of your, well, the pawn on d5, let's put it this way, the pawn on d5 is better than the pawn on d3, right? By the way, something I want you to be sensitive to is that when you see this pawn hitting the knight, we should say to ourselves, I'm better developed, but it is true that the pawn is messing with my knight, right? So we got to be sensitive to the needs of our minors, because our minors you're better here, but they don't really have scope yet. And one of the ideas of, say, a move like b4 is to tickle this diagonal open and squares for the knight. Okay. So de4, this pawn on d5 is stronger than this pawn. Wait, what happened here? So de4, and then you play e5. You're losing your mind. Yeah. So now you're going to allow white to catch up in time. One of the things, just castle already, dude. That's right. One thing to say about this is cool with because your notes are so good, is I like that you're saying why you did e5. And so when we go over these games and I yell at people for for losing time, they often don't even tell me why. I can kind of guess a lot of times why. But here we're seeing like you're afraid of something and then you're going to react to it. So even e4, I think, freaked you out. And then here you're freaking out about e5. But if you just imagine, I don't know, putting the king anywhere. If they play e5, we go knight d7. We are fine, right? By the way, again, I encourage you to, if you can, to not castle when the endgame is on. This is what Nimzovich called a Dane. Is Nimzovich a Dane? No, I don't know. Nimzovich is a very hard identity. I think there was part of Nimzovich was a little bit Danish, though. Is that right, Kraai? We're going to have to look it up. Anyways, Nimzovich said, the threat is often greater than the execution, and that's definitely the case with this move. The threat of e5 for you is greater than the actual execution, because instead of e5, which wouldn't do that much for him, you react with this bad boy. Okay, natural move. Okay. Now, this moves like this make me think I am not mentally on top. And I think what we're saying is you miss knight a3, right? And so because you're down in time, you have to, you have some issues to figure out. And definitely knight d7 looks good. And you saw it, so good. Yeah, you're still okay here. You're still okay. And you'll probably have to play b6 someday. And we're going to put our king here. Notice, the king here controls, not that one, Kraai, these nice squares where white might try to infiltrate. Knight a3. Pop. 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 Now we're going to lose a pawn. And now we are definitely in trouble. Now notice that now you kind of do need to castle, because king e7 we met by bishop c5, all that stuff. Quad XC says he ended his days in Denmark. I knew it was Denmark. Then at the end, he's buried in the Assistenzkirchegård in Copenhagen. In Copenhagen, nice. So here we go. Castles. Now you're forced to do it. Now at this level, we're not lost yet, my friends. We're not lost. Knight d6. And you trade a pawn. And then you get frisky over here, rook a4. Okay. Rook fb1. And now you play knight h5. Okay. To me, the first question would definitely be, can you get away with this move? You're definitely in big trouble. The next question, if that didn't work, would be maybe I play knight a5. Remember, the knight is dominated over here, and here he controls the pawn, and maybe we'll talk to this coconut. Knight h5, I don't know where he's going. Well, why is... by the way, White's not... Well, that was White's biggest thing of the game. He played 4 minutes. He probably just forgot to hit his clock. Wait, why... I see. So he's worried about this thing, but this knight is so strong. Why is he going back? In any case, the rook b7, bishop c3, rook c1 should at least be the first thing black is thinking about, right? Yeah. Okay, so knight b5. I think he's giving you a break. And now you get real frisky with knight b4. No intendo. Now you're really well set up to develop your rookski over here. Let's go. Let's go. Weird. It's still an interesting position, even though you might be lost against a very strong GM. You're not like crispy critters here yet. By the way, this is a very interesting thing where in the middle game, the two minors would crush the rook. But now the rook, he's a dude who he likes it when the board opens up a little bit, you know? He likes a little breathing room. So a lot of these end games, you might have a chance. And definitely here you blundered with rook c8, knight d5. Now, one of the things I want to turn you on to is it probably felt in the game like you were going behind in time, and that encouraged you to play quicker, right? But this chump, he's moving so fast, you were moving fast. That's what I see. So, for example, if we go back and just look at the moves for a second, knight b4 is a big decision. You did think 6 minutes on it. And then this one, rook c8, you played instantly. At this point, I was psychologically crushed. I read it, dude. I could feel the psychologically crushed just by the time. So, by the way, you might be lost here, but White still has work to do. And rook b2 is definitely, I think, the first intuition. Because Mama said put the rook on the 7th rank. That was one of the things she always mentioned. And here, the grief really, to me, is like your knight's misplaced. You know, this bishop's going to talk to the dark squares at some point. But, you know, if you can hang on a little bit, maybe you're going to survive. Yeah. Okay, so that was really cool. That was really cool. I enjoyed the novels. That was also a very good annotation. Okay. Let's move on. That was Avocado Lobster. Next up, we have D-Will. D-Will, let's see what's going on. Ruches, thank you for rating. Thank you for rating very much. Roskilde, Jason Stone King at the YouTube. Nice. That's right, Roskilde. That's where it was, man. 1990, whatever. Yep. Super cool. Thank you for reminding me of that. There's a dude, a GM named Van der Sterren. He's a GM, and apparently I played him in a game there, and I barely remember it, but he just recently published a book, and that game got put in there. You know. And he called me like, he said I looked like a backpacker. You know, I've been been living in Europe for a long time at that point. But, I guess I look kind of scraggly. I probably did. I probably look kind of scraggly to the noble Van der Stern. You got that Van in your name and your nobility. Okay, this is D-Will. Clubs. No clubs. Activity. He's got some done. This is so cool. This is a new thing, guys. You can see you can do all cohorts, or I can switch it down to what he most recently did, and it got a couple points. So let's try that again. So all cohorts, done 14 hours, joined late last year, done mostly tactics, probably no games. Let's see what we got. No games. Okay. So let's just say the obvious. If D-Will watches this show, well, you need to put in some games, bows. Time to do some games. All right, but otherwise it looks pretty good. Okay, next up, we have Pilrium. And Pilrium says, the program forced me to start playing slower games, which I believe is being helpful, reducing blunders and focusing on less frequent, higher quality chess. Training program looks good, although I'm not sure I agree with some of the book choices. I have been following most of it. One big gap in the program, in my opinion, is thought process. This is the area I am struggling with the most, like I am sure many other players at my level. Quality material on this topic is difficult to find and is usually way too complex for lower rated players. It's a good opportunity of improvement for the dojo program. Okay. I have some thoughts. You see, I'm rocking in my chair, thinking about it. Let's get into it. Pilrium. So, we're going to follow. And, dude, Pilrium, one part about process is you're ready to graduate again, buddy. Maybe you kind of average it out between these two ratings. But otherwise, you've been flying up, dude. Absolutely crushing it. All right, clubs. No clubs. Activity. A little bit. All right. So, good macro distribution over here. Let's click around a little bit. Looking good. Up to Polgar Mate 427. You guys, 3.0 is coming out. Oh, it's going to be nice, dude. It's going to be pretty good, dude. We got things. The dojo's constantly evolving, but we got things coming that I'm pumped about. All right, let's see if we got a game from Pilrium. Here we go. He's playing the Dynamic Commander today. Online game from the Elite Chess Lone Wolf League. This analysis was done manually, then I ran it through the engine. Engine lines are marked with SF. Great. Really well done. Nick Sons, thank you. Thank you. We rate each other back and forth, man. If you're just joining us, this is the Dojo Training Program Graduates Celebration Party. I just take a look at the profiles and one game or so of the people who have graduated. That's what we're doing today. All right. A little funky to play F5, but we're not going to say nothing about it because GM Nixon's just rated and he loves that move. Okay, incorrect. And I'm happy you noted it. Incorrect. That's right. B6, okay, I like it. Okay. Yeah, Bishop B7 makes more sense. But I don't think you're harming yourself too much with this. Boss, but why don't you just play Bishop B7? You played B6 for a reason. Good. You got him. Little weird. D6, and that makes me nervous. That makes me real nervous. Okay, D6 is a normal developing move, and it looks like the computer. Well, it wasn't. It doesn't say Stockfish anyway, but D6. This would be the problemito right here, and then that would force this move, and then. It just makes me real nervous. Maybe it's okay. Because see, what he's saying is that D5, he's going to somehow survive through this. We're not done yet, though. Let's keep going. Boom. I don't know how you want to take it. Boom. Boom. Let's go boom. Let's go boom. And maybe I live with a fancy move like queen b4 or queen a5. Bang! Get out of my face, son! Maybe. Let me just say give me a heart attack. And there's no reason for the heart attack. Just castle bows. Just castle or play bishop e4 now. Okay, here we go. d6, a3. To me, this is again a loss of time. And now queen c3 would certainly make more sense. Fine. a4, losing more time. a5, now you are losing time. Okay, let's talk about it. As we talk a lot about here on the show, the path to 1,000 is generally paved in taking other people's pieces for free. At that point, they're also going to give you a lot of time, but that's not how the games are going to be decided, right? Games will be decided on people hanging stuff. Here, they're going to keep hanging temp because they're not going to understand, okay? And you need to really think when they give you tempi. You can be like, right, Kraai's talked about this. You got to say to yourself, you say, Kraai's talked about this, and he says that I need to win more time and open up the position, and it's time to punish them. And that it's a skill to learn how to punish these people when they lose time. So first of all, let's just talk about a4. It's not hard to imagine a position where maybe after white's castled and the rook is here on a1, that this would make a lot of sense. But it's not, and we would say with a4, a5, we could say, well, white's developing the rook. Well, here they're not. They blew a tempo on rook d1, and now they're blowing a tempo on a4. So your default moves need to be bishop e4 or castles, right? And then we take it from there. We take it from there. a5, d5. All right, let's talk about this. D5, in many positions like this, I would call this a Queen's Indian structure, is worthy in that it blocks our bishop and sometimes introduces this idea. It's very frisky, though, precisely for the reason you're saying, in that dude is not developing their pieces, right? Big problem. All right, let's look. You got real frisky and played castles. I don't know why we wouldn't castle short, but this, I think, is okay. e3, knight c5, very nice. Bishop e2. And I guess this is your intention. You want to wail on him. Now, the problem with this move, g5, is I think he wants to play knight d4 anyway at some point. Right? So g5, definitely they should castle. Instead, notice this. They free your animal. I set the animal free. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? Okay. So, the simplest move for you here is, again, to play bishop e4 to plant that baby. Bam! They got to worry about this one. We can take this pawn at our leisure, as the English say, the leisure, right? Yeah, and it's a real bummer. Not only do you have to worry about the pawn and all that other stuff. Ooh, watch this one. Oh, no, don't watch that one. Jesse had a bad idea. In any case, a move like this, not only have to worry about this kind of stuff, but like here, I might just take your coconut and it might hurt. It might hurt. And why is this becoming a possibility? Because white didn't develop their coconuts. So this is problematic because you're giving that tempo to the knight. And I understand why you played this move, because if you play queen f6, you got to at least worry about queen f5, right? And you're saying this is winning. Maybe winning. But I can understand why you didn't maybe want it. Okay, so queen e4, bishop f3. Takes, and you play knight a4. So here's the problem. If that was white's best, don't we have to say that best was not good enough, my friend? Because you're wailing on this dude here. You got this big, fatty passed pawn. Your knight is more active than their knight. This rook is still out of the game. You're doing great. Yeah, I would say this is technically winning here for you. And this move certainly doesn't cut it. Now, you went back, and that's certainly a fine move, but let's just stress that this move, I think, is at least hard to meet, because after rook d4, we can always play c5, which will dominate this knight and then take this nut, right? Now, it's a little complicated, and your move is fine. So let's just go boom. Okay. f3. Maybe a good move to stop you from going to e4. de8. Okay, we're not going to say anything bad about that move. Castles. Poor move. Why? Because the king does not want to be moving away from the center. They've undeveloped his king. All right, now you played rook e5. Knight a4 looks pretty good. And there you can imagine, again, if they do this stuff, you've got that. This one strikes me as a little odd, because do we really want to take that rook on d5 ever? Yeah. Now he's getting counterplay. Uh-oh. And Stockfish is talking to you about rook c5. Now, one thing I want you to see actually about this variation that's good is that it's a great example of what we call the exchange sacrifice and the latent power of that a-pawn, right? So you won the a-pawn like a gazillion years ago, and now you can really feel the dude's power. And what you should see about this computer line is the monster sees that the race, we're winning the race despite the fact that we're down the exchange, because our knight is a beast and our pawn will find its way to the promised land. Yeah. Okay, so it all fell apart. Here it's still competitive, by the way. He blows it. Yeah, welcome to the dojo, buddy. Oh, it's getting hot. Ooh, king c6. That's the move I think you should really feel bad about. In a rook, there's a great rule of thumb. In the rook endgame, the thing that the opponent's rook fears most is two connected passers. There's just a real hell of a drug. So if you can get this bad boy here, oh, there's no defense. You could give him the rook at that point, bud. As long as you get your pawn there, it's over, man. It's over. The guy is crispy critters. Okay, so this all went down. You're trying to run the king over. And actually, the problem you're having is, hey, those pawns that he's got are really strong too. Uh-oh. Looks like we've kind of gone a little passive. Well, before we call, wait, why is rook h5 a double question mark? No, you could do it. I don't care. You're fine. That's an example of the computer talking. You're just trying to make the game easy, and it is. Okay. Definitely here is an example of where we have let things get a little spicy here. And the good news for us is that king g5, we have that. If we did not have that, there would be more grief. Let's take a look at the clock. Oh, pretty good. Notice, let me show you something. You guys had the clock disease, and that is when it got to the end game, you guys were both like, God, I can't think anymore, and I'm done. I'm just cooked. My brain is cooked, so even though this is some of the most complicated things GM Kraai has ever seen, I'm just going to move, man. I'm just going to move, dude. Both of you guys, right? All right. So, let's say Mark reviewed, and we'll go back. And so that someone had a question, what was the rating level? That's 11 to 12. Good game. Good game. And now we'll go on. This is Mauraby. And we go over here. 1248. You know, the dojo needs a chef. We got an open position. Be a chef, boss. We need a chef. Pruess, he's been mucking it up. Imagine this. This is just for the chefs out there. Imagine you had the opportunity to like go to France for a year, right? And in that time, you're like, nah, I'm not going to drink any alcohol. So all the wine's out. You're like, nah, I think I'm going to be a vegan or something. I think he's vegetarian, not vegan, but it just, and you know, in Berkeley, it's fine to be a vegan, where the dude's from. It's fine. There's beautiful produce, you know, but you go to France, dude, all they got is meat and cheese, boss. That's all they got, and some wine. And he's just like, no, I'm just in this rainy French village and I'm eating baguettes all day. That's all he's doing, you know? The avocado disease. Okay, so clubs. No, activity. Here we go. So, done some work, joined fairly recently, about 10 days ago. Does have a game. Let's check it out. I just want to say, for a first game submission, really good. And we got some notes by Angry Orange and Tangerine, I think. I'm a little bit confused about that. So, fine. Everybody's doing fine. Okay. It definitely losing a tempo, but we understand why he did it. It's hard. I just can't imagine that move is dubious. H6, and then he snips. It's a relatively chill move to play knight f6. That's right, yeah. I don't get it. No, h6 is fine. And so he gets a tempo on you, fine. And you go back, fine. c3, bishop b6. This is a move I don't like. White prepares to threaten d4, which would lead to an opening of the center. It's okay, boss. Just play bishop b6 if he plays d4. It's time to castle. Weird. Totally wrong. He should castle. Weird. And now you play f5, which looks like a blunder. Because knight takes b6 looks like it wins a piece. However, I want to say f5 in principle, okay, is a fine move. So it's a tactical mistake, but yes, we would like to get our rook out, and nota bene, you are up in time here, my friend. You are up in time. Something you should feel or understand is that this knight is imprisoned by these pawns. So it would make sense to, if we're not going to play f5, to play knight e7. So knight e7 we're going to call the sober move, but if you want to get frisky with f5, then you need to play queen d7 first and then f5. Does white find it? Yep, they do, unfortunately. And now we're just crispy critters. Yep. Bummer, man. White's playing it pretty good, dude. I think he should have traded, but okay. Ah, geez, man, he's really coming after us. No? What? What? Check to the miserable king. Always check. It might be mate. Oh, I blew that. Let's look at the times, my friend. Oh, this guy didn't use any time. Look at that, buddy. Welcome to the dojo. That's the kind of revenge that I want, for the dojo. Some chump out there, yes, we dropped a piece. Was it unfortunate? Yes. Were we saddened? Yes. But we're playing some chump who ain't even taking time, and then suddenly, guy's getting ready to walk off, have his morning potty or whatever it is. Bam! Checkmate, baby. Welcome to the dojo. Well, that was very satisfying. Drinking my matcha tea over here. As a professional chef, I hope you appreciate the culinary experience that you have provided me, my friend. That was pretty good. Bro got slept. Never heard that before. Okay, next up is Nestflüchter, someone who's fleeing the nest. And, we've seen Nestflüchter before. Let's read. My results are getting better, but I feel I'm mostly winning my games due to mistakes by my opponents. Guess what? It doesn't change. It's only by the mistakes that you have a chance to win. Okay. The book, Logical Chess, Move by Move, is such a treat to read. As I said, that was one of the books that was correlated with the highest rating game. I'm glad it's in program. I was also happy to start dipping my toes into opening study and chose the French. Right, at 1100, 1200, traditionally you haven't been able to. Kostya forced it in there, bud. He did some big negotiations, and so for 3.0 at 1100, you're allowed to taste the nectar. And here at Nestflüchter, he tasted it a little bit with the French. Okay. My biggest perceived struggle is to find plans and good moves in the middle game and not fall for tactical traps. I guess it's calculation I need to get better at. Works well in tactical puzzles, but there's always a winning move and lands almost with force, which I think is easier to spot and calculate. True. All right, Nestflüchter, let's take a look. Boom. So, 1220, very nice progress. Living in Laos, People's Republic. Wow, dude, okay. Dojo Down Under, okay, cool. So, we got people from all over, man. This is a cool program. So, 77 hours, and in the last one, it took him 34 hours to graduate. Not so much on the games and analysis. We got some tactics going on. Bulgar mates in 2. Nice, okay. Let's see if we got mini games from the Nestflüchter. Makes sense if he's out there in Laos, dude. He's left the nest. All right, so this is a 60-minute game. Let's see if his opponent played super fast. No, well, it's fairly reasonable. We'll also see if when they hit the end game, did they just immediately go super fast. All right. That's all fine for me. Okay, this is actually a known thing. Fine. Okay. Weird. Definitely bishop takes was better. Good move. Gonna lose a tempo. Now that's frisky. Castles. The natural move would just be to take this bad boy. Not only are you not going to worry about the pawns, but eventually the queen will be on the e-file, and then we can hope to pop her when we put a rook there. Okay. Bishop e2. No, you're playing a kind of passive opponent. Now, something I hope you felt is you're doing great, but this knight needs help, right? He needs a job. We need to find a job for this homeboy over here. That can't be wrong. That can't be wrong. Okay, well done. We're not going to say nothing bad about that. Bishop b5, that wasn't it. That loses a piece. And now the main question we have is how come this game lasted so long? That's our main question. Boom, boom, boom. Right, there's basically, I'm going to say no compensation. And what they do here is interesting. B3, I'm really hoping you played rook d8 here. Just rook d8, rook d2, boss. Let's see what you do. Good move. Oh, they trade off. How sweet. Thank you. Good move. Now you're fixing your knight. Now we need any kind of king move, or f5 or f6. Okay. Quick note, knight e5 is fine, but in general you should say, I've got a symphony of 3 pieces and they all need to play. So either bring the king out this way or this way. We're going to need to defend this bad boy if the knight goes after us. I mean, really, we're just crushing this fool, but I want all 3 involved. See, that's what happened. If our king were on d6, we wouldn't be losing this pawn now. Now we lost a tempo. King f7 would be better. Notice both players are just being down a king. So yes, you're blundering pawns, and your opponent's picking them off, but bows. This guy needs, it's like the development thing. Development applies to the endgame as well. It's got to get out, buddy. He needs to help. That's a nice move, I think. Thank you. Lets you trade it off, and now it's easy. Okay. Well, buddy, it lasted so long because this dude wouldn't resign. Mate! Nice. Well done, Nesflushta. So, dude, you're doing the work. I like it a lot. And if we go then ratings, you're doing fine. You're absolutely doing fine. You're doing the work too. So that's great. That's great. Nesflushta's doing it well. So, bang. Colton, graduating multiple times. Boom. Over here, just to make sure. So, boom. And Colton's here. 1179. Colton, I don't know if it was time to graduate yet, bows. Not yet ready to hit that button, bows. Yeah, I don't know if it's ready. Clubs. Nope. Activity. A little bit. Oh, quite a bit, actually. What are you saying, buddy? So in this, dude did 13 hours. Somehow this is all games and analysis, but then only 7% got marked over here. So something weird is happening. Games. No games, Colton. Bows. Come on, man. Let's see some games. Let's see some games. All right. So there's Colton. Graduated multiple times. Rating has just been skyrocketing. We need to see some games, bud. Next up, we have John Mack. Whoa, this is a long show today, my friends. You better move it along, Kraai. John Mack, it's long games. I switched from Chess.com to Elite Chess Classical, going no faster than 30-30 with almost all of my games being 60-30. Started doing program mate in twos and have been doing the easy woodpecker method tactics on Chessable. Bought Mastering Chess Strategy, but it hurts my brain. Good, okay. Little brain hurt. Can't be bad. So yeah, when he wrote this, he says he's around 1,400 on Chess.com, but now he's not. Now John Mack is over 1517, my friend. Welcome to the dojo. Clubs. New England. There we go. New Hampshire. Okay. Looking good. And then activity. Boom. We'll go down one. Boom. Lots of games. Hopefully we'll see some. And he said he was doing the mate in twos. Looks good. Okay. Games. Here's Big Chebo. Let's just look at his time usage real quick. No, it's not available. Okay. Looks like a 30-30. So far, so good. Usually E5, but this is all fine. Knight E8, Knight E1, F5, brilliant. F3, F4, brilliant. Knight D3, rook F7. Okay, so now what we're dealing with, as we are now going up the cohort ladder, is we're seeing somebody with some good skills in understanding what's going on in the King's Indian. Yeah. Okay. And this is such a beautiful move. It's been around for a long time. It's just a beautiful move. You might want to do this, and we control this square, and we're going to push for mate. B4. We could talk about it. Okay. Now, one curious thing about knight EF6 is you're blocking your bishop. So, from my point of view, I would much rather prefer bishop F8, as this slows down white playing C5. White does not play C5, plays knight F2. Okay. G5, good. H3, and now knight F8. So white has been very slow about getting their business going on the queen side. Finally it starts, and you bring the horsey in, and you got a great position, bud. You got a great position. And it's going to be hard for white to do stuff over there on the king side. A3, horrendous. Horrendous. So one of the cool things about a position like this is we talk a lot about time. And usually when we're talking about time, especially in the lower cohorts, we're talking about people blowing a tempo in the opening, in the development of their pieces. Here, we have a situation where both sides are trying to get somewhere, and whoever gets there first is going to win. If white crashes through here, we're toast. If we crash through here, it's mate. It's mate. It's a very unfortunate thing. So A3 is just a plain loss of time in that struggle. Bishop F8, beautiful. C takes, controversial because now you can take and you're totally fine. Could you consider taking with the bishop? Yes, you could. Queen B3, it's not doing much. Rook G7. And what's so cool about this, I want to stress, is when you play, by the way, Queen B3 is controversial because really the queen needs to help to defend this against this break, and now the queen's just leaving it. But something I want to stress about openings is, let's say you learn the King's Indian. There's a couple Kasparov games. There's one game that follows this pattern that you're doing here. It was PK Kasparov. It's either 89 or 90. Follows this, and it's just a beautiful victory. And once you see that game, it's kind of like, right, I don't need actually to memorize a gazillion different lines. I need to understand the themes of the attack. And you're doing it here brilliantly. Oh, but now I'm gonna die. Now you've killed me. Now you've killed me, Bows. Oh no! Oh God! Okay. So I'm going to just make the claim that you would win this game for sure if you played G4. Let's talk about what you're afraid of. You're afraid of losing the pawn. I get it. Let's just take it this way. But look at all that force count. How is white going to live through this? I will give you the answer. They're not. They're not going to live through this, bud. No, 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 no. Right? So this is a key moment in your development as a King's Indian player, right? Now, I think we can even argue that you are strategically lost with that one move, because now you cannot break through, and white, given enough time, will break through on the queen side, right? So very key mistake, and notice, this is an opening mistake, and it's on move 20, right? And I say opening mistake because it's about your decisions going into this middle game here. And we're dealing with the 13 to 1400 cohort here. So very important that you understand why h4 is horrendous. Rook c2 makes sense. Poor move, knight h1. The knight on g3, forget about it. It's just one piece. So what should they do? They should bring the rook over. Okay, good. Here, okay. Rook h7. I'm not sure what it does, but notice what's going on here is you're just kind of waiting until they take on g3. White, to their credit, is like, no, I don't want to take that thing. No way. And it would be terrible for them to take. And now you just go for it, boss. Bam! I don't care. Queen c8. Now you're not threatening it though, right? Because that knight on f2 is guarding all the coconuts. So this move, really kind of unnecessary. Queen d8, no one knows. Fine. Now he's wasting you. Check. Oh, well, hold on, Kraai. So what did he do to himself here? He just blundered the piece. He just blundered the piece. Oh, man. And notice we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything. So move like a4, king g2, all of this is possible. Bishop e1 to f2. Excuse me, bishop e1 to f2. Oh, no. Blundericious. Rook c4. Man, he's just blundering it all. Thank you very much. Yard sale. Thank you very much. Oh, buddy, gr4. Let's go. Well, you might as well. Okay. There you go. I mean, you're up 1,000 pieces now. It should work out. Okay. So that all looks pretty good. Yeah. Checkmate, baby. Checkmate. The rook not moving all game is straight up no bueno. Now, let me just say actually about the rook. One of the things you can see from the Kasparov PK game is like this rook is oftentimes the bait. And what I mean by that is like every other piece of blacks gets involved in the attack easily. The rook on a8 sometimes doesn't. Sometimes we even let white come all the way in. Often we let white come all the way in and say, you want to win my rook, buddy? You take it. Why? Because it might give me a tempo or two. And that's all you need as a King's Indian player because you're playing for mate. You know, you are playing for mate. It's mate or die. Mate or die. So the thing I want you to really stress is that h4 move. I want you to go to bed tonight and just be like, Kraai did not like this move. You know, it made him cry. I know that's my last name, but, you know, it did hurt me. It hurt my soul. Okay. Zonderbach. Thank you for the sub. And now a guy's name who I can't pronounce asks, what order are these processed in? We did the under 1000s yesterday, and I can show you what we're doing today. We're slowly moving up the ladder. So here we did 12, 13, now we got 13, 14, and now again another 13, 14. And Charles Ewell says, annotating games has been super helpful. I'm learning from my mistakes and thinking in more depth about what I need to do. Also, knowing that I'm going to annotate the game makes me play slower and more thoughtfully because I don't want to write, here I moved too fast because I was bored not paying attention. Well, that was well said. Okay. So this is Charles Ewell. We're going to follow him. They're up to 13, 19. Look at that beautiful rating graph. Welcome to the dojo. Clubs, no clubs, activity. And we're going to go back one. Looks like they've done a lot of games and annotations. Okay, probably time to do some other stuff, but if you're doing the games and annotations, that's fine. Upside Down Chuck. Is that a Peanuts reference? Okay, so let's go see Upside Down Chuck. Ooh, this man don't care about nothing. So here we go. Boom, 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 boom. My friends, if you're confused, just let it pass over you. Just let it go. This is the Schliemann people, and they have their own logic, okay? All right, so apparently this is all standard theory up to here. Stuff I notice. White has temporarily left a pawn, but black can win it back. Correspondingly, black temporarily has the bishop pair, but if I want the pawn back, I need to give that up, as after c4, it's tough for me to attack the d5 pawn. Development is about the same. Okay. Yeah, so this is a blunder of time. So notice, I guess you went down this hardcore theoretical road, and then white immediately blew it with knight b4. Well, it's helping you amazingly. It's not just a5 that's helping you. It's helping you in the sense that you're gaining more and more time here. A couple things I would say about this position is I would say it's a big question. White owes you a tempo with the king. It's not going to be able to sit on the e-file. Where it should go, if I was white, that'd be one of my big questions. Okay, so you did fine here. You're up in time. You cannot complain about this one. Weird move. Why is it weird? Because he's blocking his bishop. Let's go g6. Nice move. Bishop g7. Nice move. Let's give him a check. Good. King d3. Now we should definitely consider ye old a4. But that's okay. That's okay. Let's knight e4 him right now, boss. Oh! Computer analysis turned up a tactical shot with knight g4. Yep. Knight e4 does a kind of similar dirty deed to him. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Dirty deeds and they're done dirt cheap. Yeah. So here, now we can still do it. Is it true? Well, knight e4 is definitely still kind of a humdinger. The knight f2 thing at the end isn't, actually it's no longer clear, is it? It's no longer clear. So this is a weird move. Unfortunately, we don't have the times here. Still makes sense to play knight e4. It's not true, Kraai. It's a little bit controversial now. So yeah, we missed a big chance here. So let's just talk about it. When your opponent doesn't develop, it's often a tactical opportunity that is just briefly there, and we needed to do either one of these knight moves. And you can see this is a natural move. It'd be good to know how much time was spent. And now it's no longer simple because knight e4, bishop g7, if knight f2, the king goes somewhere, and your rook is pinned. You can't easily take that bad boy back. Oh, and then if you don't, if you go like knight e4, bishop g7, rook g7, you have to deal with this, where you're not lost or anything, but that's not what we wanted, right? Okay, so king d7 was better. He's going to do the Tauschmaschine. We still should probably play knight e4 because after you do this, your bishop is pinned. I don't understand that move. I don't get it. Oh, that was really a bad one. One of the things that'd be important to look at the times, okay, is in my experience, what's happening is people are playing outrageously fast at this stage of the game, and it's like they're filled with an anxiety, you know? I'm worried, for example, my daughter's getting math anxiety, and I feel like this is similar with like endgame anxiety, because when you reach the endgame, different rules apply, and the game becomes more concrete. There's actually more to think about. It's a little bit anti-intuitive, right? There's more to think about. The lines go deeper. It's convoluted like crazy. And so this thing where people start moving fast, to me, reflects a kind of anxiety with that kind of thinking that's required. And that's why you see people, they just flatline on the clocks. They're just like, oh man, I gotta move. I don't know what to do. It's gotta be move, bop, 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 right? But a lot of these moves, I didn't even understand why we were doing them, like c5. Okay, so there it is. We got yacked. Yep. My guess is here when you give your takeaway is that it has to do with the time management, most of all. Okay, so there we go. Boom. Next up, we have Smoke Tower. I've had a great experience so far with the dojo. Feels like a great community with many friendly people. I think the dojo's recommendations helped me to trust the process. I thought it was pretty overrated when I first joined at the bottom of this cohort, scared of losing, because I would feel like I was getting worse. After joining the dojo, even if my rating points fluctuate, I can be sure that I'm still making progress somewhere. Cool. All right. Here's Smoke Tower. I'm going to follow. Addicted to the ChessCom training. This tactics trainer has intrusive thoughts about sacking his queen. Smoke Tower on all the relevant platforms. 1,300. Also on our platform, 1,300. Okay, let's go clubs. Oh, ADHD, Maryland. Oh, I'm in Maryland too, man. All right. So then we go activity. And we're going to go just down one. Yeah, that's where they've done it. 53 hours of work. Looks very strong. Lots of endgame stuff. Some tactics. Yeah, looking good. Okay, and now let's see if we got a game or two. We do. Oh, Smoke Tower is playing Upside Down Chuck, the dude who we just saw. We got to do that game. A little weird. Not the end of the world, though. Still okay for you. Good. Good. You're developing. Castles, knight c6. You say that's a little frisky. Probably is. What should you do? You should castle, right? Or, yeah, castle. Knight c6. Rook e1. And now you play queen d6. Yeah. Now, I think we should talk about castling short here. What would happen? This move, I don't know. And this move may be okay. This one has the ability to play bishop a3, but also maybe later a5. A standard, well, there is grief here. You're definitely under some grief. Please just castle. Okay, good. Bishop a3. Now, bishop a3 is a little controversial because this is going to allow you to trade off some pieces and you are a little cramped. There might be a tactical thing, though, that I'm smelling. We're going to have to see if the smell test bears out. So first of all, before we look at the other option here for white, queen d7, we got to wonder, does d5 hurt you? Okay, so if snip, he goes intermezzo snip. And if snip, 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 you're hose-budded because of this. And you're also wasted because of this. So, this is a very problematic move. And I think you need to play this. But it's getting hot, my friend. And one big question right away is, does this, I mean, he's all over your coconuts. Now, it might not be over, but you can see that he's talking to your nuts. And queen d8, maybe. You know, the game goes on, but white is definitely doing great. A simpleton move would be c4. Okay, so I think they missed it. Notice, he fixes your knight. Okay. That's not doing anything. Whoa. That's pretty frisky. Notice what you're saying with f5. You're like, is it hope chess? It kind of feels that way. Because now you invited the knight back in for a permanent post. This is not a threat so much because bishop e4 will whack you. Created this weakness. I don't know, dude. You know, I don't know. So first of all, queen c6, you got to move the queen somewhere. But like queen h5, dude, no, just move your knight somewhere. Let's go here maybe, you know? At some point we might want to play this move. And we could even consider actually this move, because on knight e5 we could meet it with queen b7 holding on. We'd love to trade some stuff off. Knight g6 is the most normal thing, I think. All right, that's very frisky. That looks incorrect. Well, it's at least giving you queen c3. I don't know why he would give it to you. Yeah. So, I mean, a simple move for him would just be rook ac1, because you can't really do anything. The threat is greater than the execution. We talked about that about an hour ago. I think, okay. Looks controversial. Queen b4. Okay. And you said queen d4, rook c7, g6, queen h3. Nota bene, queen d5, no bueno, because of bishop c4. Yeah, so this is unpleasant. Good move. Rook e3. Bam, you say. And dude plays rook h3. And your claim is that if rook c7, queen a1, bishop f1, bishop a6. Good. Wow. And you say white is much better here. Maybe you mean black is much better. This is a great game, by the way, Smoke Tower. You're doing good over here, man. And notice, remember what he said? He said he was addicted to the tactics trainer. And yeah, there's some stuff going on here. Now you've consolidated it. He trades for you. Then you should say thank you at least. And you say thank you. No, there you go. There you go. Well done. I think white could have maybe tried a little bit better. You talked about rook e1. Makes sense to me. That was great, man. That was great. As you get stronger, I want you to see that moves like knight c6 will get punished, such as that variation I showed with d5, right? So as you get up, they're going to hurt you a little bit more. Now, I fear something. Yeah, you guys weren't using that much time, you know? Neither player was really, and there was some complicated positions, my friend. Like this thing with, let's go back to his rook h3 for just a half a second. So where was our business with rook? He played, there's all kinds of tricky decisions here, by the way, but where's my famous rook h3? Or rather, I don't know, just start here. Dude's got 48 minutes, 95, just a couple minutes. To me, that's like a massive critical decision here, you know? Black has just gotten super frisky with f5, very double-edged. Rook ac1 strategically might win the game. You know, there's questions being asked here. So yeah, it's a huge moment. Both players not going too long on it. And then here you kind of were, let's say knight c6. Yeah, you're not thinking too long on that one. Okay, good. Let's go on to Zen Schulte. And Zen is cruising up there. Might not technically be graduated. Clubs, Dutch Dojo. Activity. Lots of work. Okay. Looks pretty good. Maybe no games, because there's no games, or very little showing here. But we got one. And this is going to be, I can't do it, but this is Zen Master. He's the Zen Master. Okay. He's been doing a course on the Caro. Okay. Okay. You're doing fine. A little weird not to play. Oh, anyway, let's just leave it, Kraai. Just leave it. Okay. So, c5. Try not to open your position, your little Caro triangle, until you've developed. So the standard moves here would be knight d7 or knight f6. That's definitely worrisome here. White should play rook e1. And then, you're going to get punished for your lack of development. That wasn't good, though. Good. I don't know. This person didn't learn to develop their business. And definitely should have taken on g7, at least tried. Oh, buddy. Oh, take it easy. Zen master. Castle boss. You don't have to go crazy loco. Just castle your business. What are you doing? What are you doing, Zen master? Bishop f4 also made sense. Rook e1. But yeah. Luckily for the guy, this doesn't win a piece outright for you. Oh, no. And then he blows it with f4. Notice that both sides really had, what was it about? Both sides are blowing it with time. What does white need to do? By the way, I have a very confusing position. But white needs to bring their knight out. Pronto. I don't care what the eval is or whatever. The knight needs to come out. Whoo-wee. Yeah. Total madness. Don't think. I hope this doesn't enable you, encourage you to play moves like this again. Just castle bows. Okay. So, well done. And now the mad barber who has graduated before. Oh my God, I got to get on it here. Second graduation in less than a month. It will probably be the last one for a while since I feel my de-rusting phase is over and now I will have to put in the real work for improving further. That makes sense to me. During the time in this cohort, I have to say I really enjoyed all the sparring activities with other members of the program, especially the rook endgame progression. Very nice. Another activity that I started and found to be very stimulating is the analysis of the unannotated master games. The cohort had Botvinnik as a focus, and for a lifetime 1e4 player like me, it was very interesting trying to understand the structure and plans from his mostly d4 games. Okay, that sounds great for the Mad Barber over here. Oh, man. Okay. So, 26-year-old from Italy. Nice. And he's de-rusting. Dude is de-rusting as the Mad Barber. Clubs. Bring your own pizza, buddy. There we go. Activity. Dude has done a lot of work, but we want to see in particular what he did to get here. Uh-oh. Boom. There we go. Oh, he did it easy. Easy work. Easy work. Lots of end games. And we got, maybe that one at the top isn't him. So let's look at the Mad Barber over here. Second round, Dojo Chess Classical Tournament. All right, here we go. Frisky. Playable, but frisky. And Queen F3. I would say Bishop E2 in my head is the main move. Bishop G4. Incorrectamundo. They say you shouldn't develop your queen early. Snip. And now you're free, boss. Now you're free. Good. Now you're even up in development now. Good. Oh, just take that thing. Bang. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, I understand. He's in a bad way. This is like an advertisement for the fried liver here. F4. Jeez, dude, take it easy. To my mind, the simple way of playing this position would be to play Bishop G5, take this thing, put that big fatty knight on E4, and just go to sleep. This is very frisky. Knight d5, not appreciating development. What should they do? They should castle. Simple, that was your plan. Rook f8. They could castle, that's right. Now you got the better king. No one, I guess he wants rook b6. You got a lot of moves. A queen b7 looks good. Queen b5. Queen b8. Oh, check to the miserable king. Very sweet. Very nice. Very nice. Polgar mates for the win. That's right, buddy. Dang. Dang. Well done. Well done. Yeah. So now as we're getting a little higher, we're seeing a little bit of, let's call it opening theory. And this, back in the day, we talk about coffee house chess. And that's what Queen F3 strikes me as. So, coffee house chess, you're just trying to trick your opponent, kind of. And it works sometimes, as it does here. Right? Okay. Cool that you sparred the position, too, afterwards. That looks really good. Okay. Boom. Next up is Quack. The new FIDE boost messed up your rating conversion scheme. Yes, it did. But playing rapid at ChessCom to prepare for a tournament put me up a cohort. We haven't even dealt with it. We're doing all this 3.0 stuff. And part of it was going to be the 3.0 was going to deal with this FIDE boost and how it wrecked everybody. But honestly, we had Chess Numbers. This is a famous statistician guy. And we got to talk to Chess Numbers, boss. He was doing stats for the candidates tournament. It was a really beautiful thing he was doing. And he was like, I'm going to get back to you after that. And so this reminds me, it's like, stats, man, we need your help, buddy. Come in and help us out of this. So, boom. Quack. We're going to follow Quack. 1527. Okay. Clubs. European, Norwegian. Nice. Say hi to Magnus from me, buddy. In fact, if you see Magnus, tell him I said that he needs to come back and just face the Indian kids in classical chess. He doesn't have that many years left. I know he thinks he has got a lot more, but they're about to wipe him off the map, and the GOAT needs to make his final stand right now. All right, that was my message. Message in a bottle for Magnus. So, 56, this has already done that. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. What's the non-dojo? I got a bunch of stuff going on. That's YouTube videos right there. Okay, all right, we probably got a game or two here. Quack Quow, all right. This one looks like a real IRL game, so I'm kind of partial to that one. Let's do this one. Spring tourney of the Bergen Chess Club. Okay, here we go. Beautiful so far. Fine. Fine. So by the way, when he says the course, I think he's talking about my course. And yeah, this is a really interesting position. I actually was playing some blitz recently, and somebody played this Queen A5 move. It does not look like a good move. But here we go. E6, and you're definitely right. We want to play Bishop E3. So, you could think about castles too, but I like Bishop E3. Castles. Bishop C5. And now this is calamitous what happens here, because, see, what we're allowed... Okay, let me go back for a second. The dream that Black is playing for here is that they get a French, but their bishop gets out. Now, the reason this probably won't work is they took 2 moves to get there. Okay? So DC5, there's more than one move here for White, but I really like DC5 because it's telling Black, hey, buddy, really your best move is E6 and then recapture, and then you got just a chumpy French. So they would like to achieve this dream, but it's hard for them to hold on to their coconut. Plus, we're ahead in development. If this all falls apart And here h3 is really something, we're giving them something they want, which is now their bishop gets to get out of there, and they're going to win the e5 pawn. I assume they can do it right now. Knight e7 might have been an inaccuracy. Maybe you just want to take it immediately. It'd be frisky. Okay. And now you do this. Good. I think this is okay. Because now if knight e5, you have check and check. And you're not at least losing your coconut. And the bishop does not belong here. The only reason we did it that way it helped. It was a way for us to discombobulate black's development. Okay, knight e4. I'm not a huge fan of this move. Why? Because they're afraid of your d3 bishop, but they've just relinquished this thing, and they're going to pay tempi to get that bishop. Now, we need a good move. You play for knight b5. Maybe I can get behind this. Let's give it a try. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. And now you play b4. Yeah, by the way, I think you have a nice advantage here. You're doing fine. Because the only thing you really have to worry about is f6 messing with you. That's it. And so knight d4 at the minimum is a good default solution. This one, by the way, I don't unless we get something special for it, I don't like it. And the reason is that black's pawns are pointing this way, and he wants to create drama over there. And I know that in the course there's some positions where we play b4, but unless we get something for it, we're just making a weakness for black. Good move. Okay. Good move from black, by the way, because I think otherwise we play h4. And you talk about better was knight d4. Yes. But notice it's weaker now because then he would just play rook a c8. That's poor. Okay. Now we get ourselves a little endgame. Rook e3. Notice you're trying to be tricky. And you say, I'm done with it. Okay, we got ourselves an interesting position. Rook e d3. Maybe. He blocks your knight. Okay. a3. All the cards are in black's hands now. Is that true? Is it true? Wait a second. Why do we have to call all the black cards? Why are all the cards in his hands? All right, so what I see for you is you need to fix your king, and you need to somehow stabilize this weakness. If we could move pawns backward, you'd just be totally fine. But unfortunately, we cannot move pawns backward. One way to imagine this would be g3, got to get our king out, rook c4, king g2, rook over, knight e2. Interesting position. I don't think it's going to be super easy for black to break through, but we don't want to just say, oh, black, all the cards are in your hands. Oh, it's the f3. Now our king's going to have even more grief getting in. So notice actually the way I did it intuitively and you did it is you gave this bishop scope, and then in this variation I was like, no, bishop, you get no scope. And my king's active. In the way you did it, Baus, oh no, bad news. Okay. Black's, look, he's just messing around. He's just messing around. What should black be trying to do? Fix the king, open up the coconuts over here. It would have been better for you to play rook e3, but okay, let's go here. He's not doing anything. Rook e3 now to trade off a coconut would be okay, but that looks challenging too. Now he goes king h7. I think you are toast if well, are you toast? You're much worse after bishop takes d4 here because his rooks are more active. There he goes. Yeah, it's going to be painful. f3, I doubt it. Rook g3. I think you're in big trouble anyway, though, because his rooks are more active. It's just a very simple proposition. Better was rook c1, exactly. I think you are crispy critters, though, at this point. And a good thing to do for your annotations is to be like rook c1, rook here, rook here, rook here, rook here, and just try to imagine this position. Rook endgames are pretty hectic. And the thing to see is this pawn is weak. And so if rook b4, rook b7, you have a chance at survival, right? So it's not, maybe b5 is his best try. So these are the kinds of things we'd want you to analyze. Okay, so we'll mark that as reviewed. And we'll go on to Luke, who has also graduated muchos times. So happy I can graduate again. It's hard when we get up this high, my friends. I think most of the work I already did in last cohort, since the games that I played in this cohort are almost all won. In this cohort, I mostly played a lot of games and worked on books. I also did a bit of opening, joined the Dojo Classical for the first time. Last time it was nice to see Jesse review my game, and I hope he is looking at one of my games again. I like the latest game that I played against Cat Buddha, and I recognize that Cat Buddha name, so I'll look at that one. Okay, good. Let's take a look at Luke over here. Boom. Oh, right. Luke from the Netherlands. Yeah, dude. Oh, I remember Luke well now. One of my dreams for the dojo is we get more. There's a couple demographics we need help in. We need help on the high school age kids, and we need help with women, But just especially with kids, I really want the kids where because I see myself. I'm like, oh, if I had the dojo training program when I was a kid living in the middle of nowhere, boom, it would have been amazing. All right, here we go. Clubs. European, Dutch, no stress. Just not stressing about it. Okay. Activity. Dude, Luke has done some time. Look at this. 58 hours. Luke is crushing it, man. Look at all the stuff Luke is doing. And he's not doing the opening. Good job, my friend. Good job. Let's look at the rating graph. Bam. Oh! Luke is killing it, man. Look at that thing. Oh, man. Every old man is looking at that graph saying, God, I wish I could do that again. All right. Oh, Kraai, keep it tame. Keep it tame. Okay, so games. And he said Cat Buddha, so that's where we're going. Open classical. Right. So. Fine. Weird. Yeah. Absolutely weird. Now, one thing, this is a companion game to the last one. And this knight f3 is totally possible for white to play this way. And the thing that black should understand is if he gets enough time, development, catches up in time, then he can say, oh, I got my bishop outside the pawn chain and I'm playing the French, right? So that's the dream. And when they play a senseless move like this, it should be like, now we know what we want. Look, I would play c5 too. Check. Usually poor. You play knight d7. You could also play knight c6. Poor move. Now we're going to develop. Nice. Nice. Rook e1. This is a very poor move, almost a blunder. Yeah. Yeah, and I like what you say. c4 castles. If he played c4, I would probably just have castled and still stand better due to my piece activity. Good. Some people call it development. Yep, this is what I love when the dojoers play the non-dojoers. We just want to wail on them because they don't understand development. They play moves like bishop d2. And here we can say that it's tactical, a lack of tactical sensitivity with rook e1. Let's quickly check the times. Good. Okay. Go back to this. Oh, fine. Let's actually always mark it as reviewed, Kraai, because you always forget. Check to the miserable king. Check. Boom. Boom. And I think, yeah, this is unless he has something right now, this is winning for you. b3. My opponent played this move quickly. I think it's a good practical try. Maybe not the best, but I had to think about the c4 pawn break now. And it's cool that you thought for 15 minutes. I really don't believe in b3, but you got to feel for the guy. He's not doing anything really. Let's see what you say about the natural castles. c4. Boom. 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 Well, let's just say if you wanted to, you just take on d2 and you're winning the endgame, right? Okay, so rook c8, you're really trying to hurt him. Okay. Okay. This dude loves bishop d2. He loves it, man. Queen c7. Now you're just killing him. Very good. c3. Oh, the horrible waste of time. Horrible waste. Now, you get frisky now with knight e5. I think it's going to work because you have both knight g4 and knight d3. This is a sign, if you can take this pawn before you castle, this is a sign that life has gone truly poorly for your opponent. Welcome to the dojo right there. Check to the miserable king. This move makes me want to die, Luke. Bishop b1. Okay? You're doing great. Yes, Kraai, leave it alone. It's a fine move. He understands why you don't like it. You don't have to be so fudgely-wudgely about it. Right? Well, let's just say why. Maybe, yes, you're winning, but he's going to get a little bit of play now. Right? Because you can't... No, he's totally crushing him. Just leave it alone, buddy. You're totally winning. So, this is fine. You understand, though, I don't want you to take that sad knight on b1. He was just so you feel it. It's like that knight is so bad and it can't move, so I'd rather not take the thing. But okay, this is true. It's totally winning. I might have taken it too. Would have got yelled at by my coach, but I would have maybe thought about it. Beautiful play. Open the second front. Oh, nice move. Very good. Oh, passive. We love it. Here they come. That wasn't it. Nice move. Yes, you could have done other things, but that's the simplest. Oh, simple chess. Oh, so nice. Oh, that wasn't it. Oh, here we come. Oh, there we go. Oh, delicious. Fine. Oh, dang. Luke's playing good chess, Mouse. Luke's playing good chess. Butch, don't say anything about it, buddy. Don't say anything about it. Okay, that was really cool. Now, Luke is crushing it, dude. Luke is crushing it. Yeah, we need more people. I want him to get his school chess team or his local club into the dojo. I want him to have bring his bros and to be we're going to study together at the dojo, man. We're going to do these training programs. Pop, pop, pop. And then we're going to crush other teams. We're going to go out and crush other teams. Luke, if you're watching, buddy, we will set you up with a special deal if you get your bros to sign up. Yeah. No, that would be great. That would be pumped. All right, Luke, congratulations. Next up, we have Doc Schmitty. And we got three more. Doc Schmitty might have just, I don't know what's going on, Doc Schmitty. We don't have a lot of points here. Gone up to 1753, crushing it, obviously. Clubs, aus Deutschland. Then we got some activity. Let's just see what's going on here. No, if I hit that all cohorts thing. So it hasn't done much. No games. Doc Schmitty, tell us what's happening, bud. Tell us what's happening. Next up, we have Siegenfire. Let's go look at this over here. Siegenfire, 1718, 1725. Looks good. Clubs. New England. We got a bunch of people from New England, man. This is great. We had another one last week in the Scholastics. So maybe there's a game. We got one game against the pro guy, and the pro guy is in the program. So this is going to be fun. This is all fancy theory. I think it's called the Portuguese Scandinavian or some nasty thing. Now, oftentimes when it says inaccuracy, DC was best, that means that this was run through a computer. Okay. So, right, DC, right. Okay, good analysis. And now you're, of course, fine. Good. Okay. I wouldn't know if I would call this a London move order. So what's the grief? The knight is more active on c6. But this is fine. Fine. And knight a3 is definitely a weird move. You say thank you very much. Good. And to me, it's like, oh, yeah, all those weak squares and the rook coming to c8. I'd definitely be thinking about just playing rook c8 immediately. Fine. 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 Beautiful. Good positional chess. So knight b6 would definitely be the move I think we would like to make. Because I don't think white actually gets to move our knight. So it's hard for me to imagine that knight b6 is incorrectamundo. Good. 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 Probably doesn't do anything there. Let's go look at the time here for a second. Oh my Lord, look at that. Your opponent is just a chump. A chump. Oh, the pro guy. And I'm calling somebody, I usually don't like to call people in the training program a chump. But this time, the pro guy, you've earned it. Buddy, look at this clock time. It's as if you thought chess were just this simple, easy game. If it was this easy, we would call it checkers, mouse. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. So, queen a4. I think queen a4 looks right to me. So, notice if the knight were on b6, it'll be a little easier here to deal with. Now you got to go on a whole journey with your knight. Rook c3, I don't understand. You trade off your bad piece. White does it willingly for you. Great. It's like they love this bishop d2. Last game they loved it too. Good move. That ain't it. That ain't it. Boom. 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 And it's all over, Grover. This is it. My advantage from all that maneuvering was the single pawn. I would say it's definitely more than a pawn, though. You own the only open file, and your king is better than his king. So this is great. Oh, that wasn't it. That wasn't it either. Well, he might as well try, right? Kraai, leave him alone. Okay. So here you go and do some good analysis. And first thing we want to do is, oh, wait a second. It was black who didn't think. It was the pro guy. First of all, the pro guy, I take it back. Sometimes the colors confuse an old boomer GM like me. So first of all, I got to reappropriate the madness. It was Siegenfire. Dude, hey, buddy, it's time to think. Your opponent plays f5, and you think way longer in your notes here, which are beautiful, by the way. longer than when it happened. Oh no. Oh no. Yep. Okay, so first of all, let's just take a look at your variation. Rook A2. King F7, I like it. I think you could also just take the pawn. And now you talk about, and Rook E3 probably is better. So what should we say about that? We should say Rook takes A3. And then the way to talk about this position, I think, is to say, I'm winning because the connected passed pawns. If you remember earlier in the show, I said something to the effect of, the rooks really hate the connected passers, and this is definitely a case. They are a machine, my friend, and they are moving up the board, and they're connected, so they can't be messed with. So that would be the clear winning path. Okay, let's look at what happened. So the pro guy who was thinking at least made it a little complicated. So he's consolidated his queen, and your e-pawn isn't doing much. Good move. At least it gives him a question. Now, Rook B1, white offers a draw. Now listen, yeah, you can't be offering a draw, buddy. No, 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 no. There's no draw offer, in this position. You are clearly worse. You're down a pawn. It's time to buckle down and suffer, my friend. Yeah. Okay, good. 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 Now you're doing the tiki-taka on his weaknesses. Well done. King E3, you talk about D4. Looks correctamundo to me. Yeah. The point is you need to get the rook down in there. It's about rook and king activity. I agree with you. Notice you're doing, so look, all this analysis you're doing, very commendable. And it just points you to the fact that, my game would explode if I could take more time. It would explode. And now here, Rook C7, maybe. I think the easy one is Rook A4. And one of the cool things is once you understand that the connected passed pawns are going to win, it helps you deal with questions like, oh my God, what's going to happen after, say, Rook G8, right? So passive. He helps you in. There's Rook D1. What is happening here? He finally lets you in. Mate, you still haven't used any time, dog. You're still not using any time, man. Okay. So, D4 and King F4 is the question, right? Now, one interesting thing about D4 here is it looks so natural, but, excuse me, it's not clear that it's going to help, because think about it this way. The king must come back, and if this pawn just moves forward, just as an example, well, then we haven't helped ourselves too much, and this is where the race is. It has nothing to do with this pawn. Who's moving this bad boy faster, right? So when we get to this interesting position, first of all, it's a little hard to say what's going on, but I definitely want you to play B5. And then white has to make a choice. Do I want to play for Rook B7? Or do I want to play for H4? And it's going to be hot. In fact, we're going to say it's going to be very hot. That'd be something to analyze out. So Rook H6. Oh, wrong direction. Wrong direction. Okay, gives you a chance. Doesn't fix this problem. D3. Now he runs, but that D pawn is talking now. Good move. I like that move a lot. Queen, thank you very much. And then the pro guy plays it out. Okay. So, yeah, but it wasn't clean. I'm going to stress it again, Baus. It's about your time. You played some good positional moves, by the way. You really did. Like the position you got, let's go up to where you played Bishop A3. And you made these marks. That's absolutely correct. You're positionally winning at this point. And the position you got, I mean, both sides made maybe some inaccuracies. That's fine. But you had a winning positional, crush. And then when it gets to the end game, you're going to need to slow it down. All end games are technical. Even if you are totally winning according to the computer or whatever, it's still going to be like every move. You got to be like, all right, let's just check for all the weird stuff that can go down here, right? Marapon, thank you for rating. So we got one more. This is Ricardo Alves, has graduated numerous times. My third graduation. This was the hardest one. I believe it. It's hard when you start coming up the ladder like this. Took me more than 6 months to get those hard-earned 100 rating points. I believe there were 2 keys to achieving this. Playing OTB. Analyze my own games. Great. I began to see what my weaknesses were and dedicate myself in particular to overcoming that. Because of that, in the last 2 months, in addition to analysis, I have only dedicated myself to studying endgames. The bibliography suggestion from my cohort was excellent. Added to this, I also subscribe to Chess Tempo, where I do exercises of endgames and tactics every day. I suggest the program for everyone who wants to improve at chess, especially for adult improvers like me, who in addition to having fun with this wonderful game, work and have to take care of their family. All right. Oh, thank you, Ricardo. That's very nice to hear. We're working on it too, man. In a week or so, we're coming out with 3.0. We got things are happening. Things are happening. That's a great graph, by the way. Really nice. And we got a FIDE. You got the FIDE boost, but that's still coming up. Nice. Okay, let's look clubs. Brazil. That's right. Ricardo, by the way, we're going to see, does some great annotations. Okay. So, huge amount of work. We're going to see what it took to get him into this cohort. Uh-oh. Yeah, the medical industrial complex passed by there. So, 100 hours of work, 82 points, and I guarantee you guys, actually, I'll just give a promise. You are wondering about the program, and it's like, this or that, blah, blah, blah. Take a look. I don't know which game is going to come up from Ricardo. I just know that the guy does quality annotations. And so what I want you to see from this annotation is that the man is doing the work and he's getting results. It's that simple. So let's go check a game out. So I want to get one that's OTB, so let's pick this one here. Here we go. So, nice. And we're going to first look at the time graph. No, it's harder to do the time graph, by the way, in OTB because you have to manually enter it. But Jack's amazing thing does allow you to enter it. Okay, let me just check something real quick. Good. So, C4. As long as you play principled moves, you're going to be fine. Now we've transposed into a exchange Slav. And actually what's cool here is my sense is that you didn't even know what opening this was. And that's fine. That's fine. As long as you play principled moves, you are going to be okay. Good. Getting rid of your bad bishop. Well said. Excellent move. And now white, I've been in this situation as white. White has to make a judgment call about what to do now, and it's not that easy. And I want to stress, even if this looks really boring to somebody out there, I promise you, there's all kinds of stuff going on. All kinds of stuff. Okay. So, in principle, this move a6 makes some sense to me. We should criticize knight e5 as being a waste of time. And the more natural move for white would be some kind of rook c1, conceivably queen b5. Right? Maybe even h3, as eventually we might need that move. Okay, for Luft, and also for the trick I'm about to show. In addition to a6, I think this move puts some good questions to white right away. We'll just win his bishop. And he's not gonna, we're not going to lose time doing it, because I don't think he should let us take this way, and then he's going to have to do this kind of business. We're doing great, you know? Doing great. a6, though, one of the things I'll stress that I like about it is you're putting your pawns in the opposite color of your bishop. That's good. Okay, good move by white. And b5 is, in principle, a nice move. There are question marks about it. Your opponent doesn't help themselves by allowing this. That's very strong. So they have to realize that b5 is a very frisky move, and they need to pronto do something about their problems. One thing I just want you to see is this square is a little tender. So if he was going to challenge you, it would be this move. It might go knight, pawn, knight. And now if you go queen a5, there's knight c6. This is a problem. Queen b6, and now our knight wanted to go there. And now knight d2, aiming for this square might be a thought for white, for example. Okay, a3, good move. Doesn't do anything. Bam! Nice move, buddy. Knight takes c4, and you made the natural exchange. Pawn takes. I want to stress that rook takes is also a nice position for you, but pawn takes is, of course, very natural. Okay. Bishop d6, so that you can go to b8. Okay. So the evaluation, by the way, of how we should recapture depends a lot on our choices of moves and plans here. And I think white is definitely committed to playing e4. He doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. We don't know why. But anyways, my just gut sense of this position would be queen b6, e4, and rook fd8, and that you're doing really good. Because if he pushes past, he blocks his business. Yeah. Okay. So bishop d6, pop, pop, and now he should play e4. Not even a question. But he doesn't. But why prepare? Go. Go. Do it. Right? Now he can confuse the situation. And he wants all of his dreams with f3. And now you need to stop it. Rook fd8. Put pressure on that pawn so he don't do it. Rook b8. I think he should play e4. Then you have to worry about e5. Okay. Finally does it. All right, now we got ourselves a frisky position. Passive. Okay. I want to stress this is how they lose games here. When I talk about time in the opening, this is the kind of position I would if I was going to extrapolate, I would say, right, it's this kind of thing where they're just blundering all their time away. It's like losing time in the opening, because both sides have a plan, and rook b1 ain't it, right? So white needs to do something dynamic before your static advantages, which is like the pawn on b2, just go, he gets passive on them. So for example, e5 is an interesting question. If you go knight h5, which is maybe what you were hoping for, you got to be worried that knight e2, maybe that knight isn't going to crawl out of there so easily. And white could maybe dream of f4, f5. I don't know. That's the first thing he can consider. The next thing he should consider is e takes and then planting a rook here. That's a simple way of gaining counterplay on the position before you can do anything, because you're coming with rook b8 soon. And here he's just like, kills me. Totally passive. Totally passive. Good move. He's just squirming now. Now you play queen g6. I'm not sure he's threatening anything. H6 seems good for you too. King f2. He's squirming. He's squirming. h5, rook e2, h4. Okay, good progress. And now he just says to himself, you know what? I didn't want to be on b1 in the first place. One thing I want you to see about this kind of opponent is they did not appreciate that they needed to do something, that they couldn't just be passive, right? And so many players don't appreciate that. Okay, you have a lot of interesting moves here. And you go with this one and this one. Well, you should go deeper in this. Yeah, there's interesting questions for us to think about here. For example, how do you feel about this endgame? Maybe d3 first or queen d3 first? Well, we definitely would rather be black. we know that. And, the easy way, too, is you could go here, snip. Right? All right, so queen e3. That's just a thank you very much. Also, but we could also just take this thing, right? Yeah, you're killing him. Rook b3, very nice. Passive again. Thank you. That isn't it. Thank you. c3. Yeah, very good. That's right. Simple chess now. This is what he gets for all his passivity. Yeah. Okay. I thought that was really good, Ricardo. Yeah. Congratulations. You're definitely making progress.